I mean, we enjoy extraordinary blessings that would count us as rich in any other age. But maybe you don't feel rich. Maybe you don't feel rich. And see, that's what that story about David Levine was about. Making $3 million a year, he didn't feel rich. So he kept thinking, well, if I get more, I'll feel the way I want to feel. Christian missionaries in places like Haiti often say this, that they see this. Material wealth is like a narcotic. It satisfies us for a little while, and then we want more. And what you can begin to see is that there's some kind of emptiness in a lot of these people. But people who don't have much in the way of material wealth look for their happiness and their satisfaction in other places. And that's what we have to watch for. Father Charles Booker Hirsch tells a story that helped him with this. One day, a father of a very wealthy family from Southern California decided to take his son on a trip to a rural area. And all the arrangements had been made, and they got to stay with a poor family on a small farm in the country. And after a couple of days and nights, they drove back home. And on the way back, the father said to his son, "Well, what did you think of our trip?" "It was great, Dad," the boy replied. "Well, did you get to see how poor people live?" "Oh yeah, Dad, sure." "So tell me, what did you learn?" the father inquired. And the boy answered. He said, "Well, I saw that we have one dog and they have four. We have a pool that reaches the middle of our garden, and they have a creek that didn't seem to have an end. Our patio reaches to the front yard, and they have the whole horizon. We have a small piece of land to live on in the city, and they just have acres and acres and acres of ground. We have servants who serve us, but they serve each other. We buy our food, but they get to grow theirs, and it tastes a lot better. We have walls around our property to protect us. They have friends to protect them." The boy's father was speechless, as you might imagine. And then his son added, "Thanks, Dad, for showing me how poor we are." That's cool. That's a good story. So some of us are rich in material things, but others are rich in things that money can't buy. So let's really be honest about this, that you and I are rich compared to the rest of the world. When I was a kid, my father used to say this to me all the time: "Hey, Christopher, if you don't like this country, try living someplace else. You won't be there long." I walked back from Juarez the first day. I got to walk around when I was a young priest. I wasn't a priest then, I was still a deacon. And I can remember walking around St. Clement's in El Paso in a trance, that just a few miles away in West Juarez, they were so poor their children ran through the streets naked. They lived in cardboard shacks with dirt floors. There was no running water except for the community tap over by the school. It was horrible. And here was St. Clement's that had a physical plant worth $10 or $20 million, and I just kind of walked around stunned by it all. You and I have wealth that we take for granted because we don't see such extreme poverty too often. Now, here's the part that really bites into you in this gospel reading this morning. And it's the reason we have to take this gospel so seriously. This is the only episode in the Gospels where an individual refuses a call to follow Jesus. It's the only place. The rich young man walks away sad because he had great wealth. Somehow he's become so insulated that even in the presence of the Son of God, he can't respond and follow him. He has to walk away. And this young man had such great promise. When Jesus asks him or tells him the rules, he says, "All this I have done since I was a youth." And Jesus looks at him and loves him because he knew the right thing to do. But he couldn't do it. He knew what to say, but he couldn't walk the walk. The spiritual danger of wealth is that it can come to own us. And you don't want to be there. Jesus asked the young man to give up what separated him from God, and he couldn't do it. Now, listen, when we were talking about divorce just a few weeks ago, Jesus reminds them that a young man leaves his father and mother and is joined to his wife. And this week we're being asked to give up some things, give it to the poor, and come and follow Jesus, to be joined to him. In lots of areas of our lives, we have to shift our priorities. And with our wealth, it's the same sort of thing. You have to be prepared to put God first. Just like in marriage, you put your spouse first. It's the same kind of thing. And so there are plenty of people with wealth who are devout Christians. They know how to put God first. They use their wealth to help others. This young man, he's got this obstacle. He needs to give up some of his wealth, or maybe all of it, so he can put God first. But you don't have to put all of your money on the shelf. You don't have to put it all in the hands of the Salvation Army in order to follow God. But some people do need to do that. And all monastics are asked to take a vow of poverty, to own nothing, because that's what they need in order to be monks. So you and I have to be prepared to let it go, to be united with the Lord. And St. Peter says back to Jesus in verse 28, we have left everything to follow you. And that's what it takes to be a good disciple. We have left everything to follow you. The good disciple gives up everything to follow the Lord. Just like in marriage, you give up your parents, you leave your child at home to be united to your spouse, because that's the way it works. Or that's the way it works successfully. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.